snippets from Korea, and I realized there was just like a lot of little things that I left out of the whole thing. It was just like me remembering like things in a highlight reel, and I wanted to just add so much more. There were so many things that I learned and I experienced, and I think the one thing that I needed to acknowledge is it wasn't a situation of the grass is greener on the other side. I don't think the grass is ever greener on the other side. What I have come to understand or see or acknowledge is that the grass was greener on the other side in the places I needed it to be. Because my year in Korea was not devoid of any kind of challenges. There were multiple challenges. Professionally, learning to work with other personality types, learning to work with people in another country that observe different cultures. There were multiple things. And learning to exist on my own. Then there were like the health things and figuring out what life would look like on that side. There were multiple things, but the things that I needed a break from, I got a break from. I believe that universally, if there is a lesson that you need to learn and you're not learning it, it will come at you no matter where you're going or where you're at or what you leave. So it's not always necessarily that one person. It is a lesson that needs to be learned, and you can't necessarily run away from it. If it's learning to stand up for yourself, or saying no, or learning to work less and not overcommitting yourself, millions of things that I learned, those lessons will still follow you. So it is, like I said, never a journey of the grass is greener on the other side. I was able to take a break and breathe and just be, and that for that point in my life was important. And I've said this before, it opened a million other doors, but I went there wanting a certain kind of experience, and all the things that happened after that or that were opened to my life created my new reality. So like my mindset wasn't to look for a husband. Prior to that, yes, I'd been looking for a partner, someone to share my life with and do things with and all the things you imagine this partner is going to be. But what I had done in my haste to find these partners or partner is I'd made a lot of bad decisions. And I read a saying somewhere where women tend to overestimate their place in a person's life. And in wanting to find my matching other, not that they really exist, or someone to share my life with, I had overestimated my role in multiple people's lives, whether it was in friendships or in prospective partnerships. And I had reached a point in coming to Korea where I just let go of all of that, and I'd let go of the pressures. And I'd also realized that a lot of the pressures I had put on myself. And I always thought they were coming from family and society and all these things. And yes, they might trail in. But my mom was not putting any kind of pressure on me to find a husband and settle down. Yes, it would be nice if I found my partner and had my fairy tale ending of sorts. But she wasn't. It was these undercover pressures I was putting on myself. And because I was putting all those pressures on myself, I was finding myself in positions where I was making the wrong decision and allowing the wrong type of people into my life. And Korea of sorts allowed me a fresh start, because I got to let go essentially of all these pressures that I had put on myself. and I could just be. It's like prior to that, and I'd been doing a lot of thinking because I've been editing that video for days, and I was putting things into perspective, and certain things start to make sense on the other side. It's this idea of prior to moving to Korea and existing in that new person, because you're always growing and changing, and my level of growth in Korea and who I was prior to that were two different human beings. I had prior to Korea and trying to date and doing the whole dating thing, and we don't have lights. We get load shedding here in the US too. But prior to, and then it's back on. I wonder what that was. When I was approaching this dating and that kind of thing, and I felt like I needed to be like the best version of myself, and I watched what I said and how I said the things, and I was very aware of being perceived as dominating, and this always selling my best self. I was selling myself short because I was trying to be what someone else wanted, and I didn't acknowledge that. I didn't understand that. I didn't see it, and had to now this year and having a conversation with a friend about doing the exact same thing that I had done years ago. I was like, yes, no, you shouldn't do that. Then you shouldn't be dating if that is what you feel you need to be. And you gotta shine as bright as you are, and you're either gonna find someone that's gonna shine just like you, or someone that's quite happy to bask in the brilliance that is you. You cannot be lesser in order to find companionship. It's not worth it. It isn't worth it at all. And it was like a full circle moment where I'd realized that I'd done these things. And my time in Korea was this like game changer for me, because I didn't have to be lesser. Essentially, in Korea, I could just be. And I didn't feel the pressure to find someone. And as a result, I was not selling myself short. I was just loud and out there. And I was on this adventure, experiencing this new culture that I knew nothing about. And teaching as the side gig, really. And I then found myself in a place where I met this person, and I had met him in all my glory. I wasn't pretending to be anyone else. I was loud. I was everything that I am on a daily basis. And he was quite happy to let me be me. And also, I was relaxed enough to go through the motions, because in my head, I wasn't in this search for this other human being. I was there to experience and explore and just have a break. And so when I'd met my now husband, those were the things that I wasn't looking for, but I found inadvertently. It was easy. I didn't have to beg and plead or overestimate myself in anyone's life. I was important to him, and he did all the things that he needed to do to make sure that I was with him. And it wasn't this fight. And I'm not saying that the journey to him was easy, but he did all the things that he needed to do to make sure that we ended up together. And it wasn't large schemes of begging and bartering my soul and all of these things that you find yourself doing in the hopes of being in a relationship with someone. It just was. And it continues to just be. And if you know me, you'll know I'm not the easiest person, and I very much am set in my ways, and I like doing things my way. And we seem to navigate that slowly. And even in all that chaos and my craziness, when I'm not getting my way, or I don't like the way something's done, or I need to do it a certain way because that's the proper way, he almost just lets me be, because I'm the person he wants to be with, and if this is how we want to do things, then this is how we're going to do it. And that's it. Which is kind of calming and reassuring, and even on my worst days, because there's been some really bad days, he still just loves me. And going to Korea and letting go of everything that meant something to me, and starting this new life where this was not the end game, but it became the end game all on its own, it's a beautiful thing, really. It really is. I think I've been so caught up in functioning on a professional level, and then trying to create a fulfilled personal life at a certain level, and knowing intrinsically all the things I didn't want. And even when I got this person that matched all the tick boxes in the list, that whole adage of write a letter to God and pray on it, and then you burn the letter, and I wrote that letter, and I got that man that had all the tick boxes and things I didn't want and all the things that I did want. I go off to the middle of nowhere village in South Korea. It's not a big town. And I meet this partner, and he is everything I didn't know I needed and wanted. And he is not perfect by any means. Lord knows, neither am I. But he is my partner. And no one ever knows where the future is, or what it holds, that kind of thing. But he's going to be the partner I continue to choose having every day. And there are a million reasons why I feel that way. Like, comment, subscribe. Please, it helps the algorithm or something.